We're delighted this morning. I don't want to burn too much time with the various intrepid crew that's been around here, but Byron is here to give us a report about God's work in Guatemala, and I hope you'll give him a good, careful, close hearing, and then he's going to preach for us this morning subsequent to that. So, Brother Byron, come. We're glad you're here with us. We hope you feel at home here.
Good morning. I do feel right at home because I forget as much as everyone else. So I'm like, oh, good. I'm right here at home. I can relate. So it is good to be back here at the church here that meets here in Livingston. My wife and my boys, they're in Guatemala. Our boys, they begin their school year in January, and they finish in October. And so that's why by the time we get to this part of the world in February, I'm supposed to be at the Fried-Hardeman lectures, but that got canceled because of weather. But by the time I come over here in this part of the world in February, they're already in school, so they can't travel with me. But normally we travel together, so I'm glad that they're well, and they send their greetings. Lyndall and Pamela were able to see them on video call last night. So they're on their way to worship this morning. And the church at Linda Vista, they send their greetings, as well as Hawatha. He comes sometimes as well. He's the other missionary. And he is in Alabama. I was just talking to a brother from Alabama, being there from Alabama. And he is in Alabama at the Shared Avenue congregation. And he sends greetings as well. He'll be giving the report there this morning. So I will try to give you a update on what we did last year. Last year we were able to celebrate 25 years being in Guatemala. And so this March will be 26. It's hard to believe. God has been very good to us. But I'll try to summarize the year as quickly as I can so that we can be in worship on time, and also to allow for any questions that you might have. Oh, before I get started, just to remind you, as you go out these double doors here on the right-hand side, there's normally a table that you set up there on the right. That table's still there, but now it has some of our items. So please be sure to help yourselves to some brochures. There are also some pins. A couple of ladies already got a couple of pins. They said they're good pins. That's good to know. And so please help yourselves to the pins. There are also some bookmarkers and some coin purses that I had not set out yet, but those are kind of favorites. They're really handy. And so please take those with you. I don't want to take those back with me. I had those in my carry-on, and now my carry-on has other stuff that I'm taking home for my family, so I don't have the space to take them back. So please be sure to help yourself to those things. All right, well, in Guatemala, for those of you who do not know where Guatemala is, it is the northernmost Central American country. If you ask the normal average Guatemalan, they think Central America is a continent. But of course, it's not. Central America is actually the southernmost part of North America. And so the Central American countries are made up of Guatemala all the way to the north, and Costa Rica and Panama all the way to the south. We have Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Belize, and of course Guatemala making up those Central American countries. Guatemala is the most populated country in Guatemala. It is a country of about 19 million now people. We have iconic symbols for those of you who have been in Guatemala. Lyndall's been in Guatemala many years. He helps us teach in the full-time Bible school there. We really appreciate that you let him do that, and that he likes to do that. He's been to Guatemala many times, so he'll know what I mean when I say the chicken bus. The famous chicken bus in Guatemala. Sister Pamela, hopefully she'll get to see those when she comes next month for the lectureship. We have beautiful places. This is one of the places down on the left bottom there. That's Semuc Champe, a very beautiful location. And then we have funny things in Guatemala. If you're not used to the culture in Guatemala, we do things very differently. Transporting water there, and he sits on top of there, or the guy that looks like he's driving the motorcycle with the box in front of his face, he's actually a passenger. You can't see the driver. But in Guatemala, we jokingly say motorcycles are family vehicles, because we take 2, 3, 4, even 5 people on a motorcycle. That's not uncommon. They just bunch themselves on top of the steering wheel and behind the driver, on top of the gasoline tank, and just wherever you fit. And so that's just how it is. But it's a beautiful country. We've been there working with the local congregation, the Linda Vista congregation, it's Iglesia de Cristo en Linda Vista. They are south of Guatemala City, about 10 kilometers or about 6 miles south of the capital city. And this year we're hoping to be able to transition out of working with Linda Vista. When we first got there, it was a small church of about 25 or 30 members, and the building wasn't finished. And so we've done a lot of things throughout the years, and we're hoping that we'll be able to hire a new preacher this year. And oops, I pushed the wrong button. Sorry about that. And so we're very thankful. We're going to leave on good terms. As you can see here, they helped celebrate 25 years for us. They gave us a plaque. Now, they're very gracious. They bought this big cake. We don't need cake, but anyway, we enjoyed it. But we're hoping to hire a new preacher. We lost the full-time evangelist who was a graduate of our Bible school, Walter Dardon, and his wife. They had to leave, came to the States on an asylum visa. And so we've been doing the process of shifting to a new preacher since then. So please pray for us so that we can do that. In March, we celebrated our 15th annual ITL lectureship, and Lord willing, very soon we're going to celebrate our 16th annual lectureship. So we usually start out with the President's Banquet, and so this is done on a Thursday evening. And it's nice to see how the ITL family has grown. We have 2 programs, and I'll tell you about those in just a moment. But the people that are at this banquet are associated in one way or another with the Bible school or with the Linda Vista congregation. We usually have about 125 in attendance, and so they just come and they celebrate. This year we honored, you can see the bottom right picture there, we honored the Bible school teachers at the Linda Vista congregation. And we have quite a few Bible school teachers, so we were glad we were able to do that. And then on Saturday and Sunday, we have the lectureship, and as you can see, it's pretty well attended. We had very good lessons this past year, and so there are 2 sons and a nephew, Alex and Jose, a lot bigger now. And then Joey is our nephew. He lives in Texas, here in Texas in Austin, and he visited for this particular event. We had good speakers. Paco Rada, you may have heard him, our beloved brother Roberto Miranda. He passed away this past year. Well, he was the key man that got us in touch with Paco Rada many years ago. And that's how Paco Rada has been coming and teaching in our program, in our Bible school, and also at our lectureships periodically. Our beloved Denny Petrillo, they're being having Benny Montejo translating for him. And then down below, we have a couple of other brothers, one from Ecuador, the one on the bottom right. So we had very good speakers and had a very good opportunity to hear God's word. We had a couple of local speakers as well. Their brother Darío from the Zone 8 congregation, and another one of our graduates, Jonathan Godinez, there on the top right, who also spoke for the lectures. We had good ladies classes, which we're looking forward to having good ladies classes again this year. Sister Pamela is going to be one of our speakers this year, so we're looking forward to that. So we have several ladies that can translate, including my wife, who's on the top left there, Snejana. She had to learn Spanish when she came to Guatemala, and now she dominates it well enough to be able to translate. So I'm very proud of my wife for doing that. I think that's her 4th or 5th language that she's learning. So it's nice to have that talent. I'm working on my 3rd language, but I'm nowhere close to her. So here are some of our guests that came last year. And like I said earlier, we're looking forward to a next lectureship, which is the 19th through the 23rd. And as I said earlier, Linda and Pamela Mitchell are going to be coming and participating as speakers and also be involved in all of our activities. So we're really looking forward to having them with us. And if any of you would like to come, we'd love to have you come. It's an opportunity to see the work. It's slow-paced. It's, you stay at a hotel and we transport you. We're with you the whole time. So it's a good opportunity where you can hear good lessons. All the lessons are translated. Of course, if you have an English speaker, you wouldn't have to have that translated because we translate into Spanish. But you can meet the brothers and sisters in the Church of Linda Vista. You can see a little bit of Guatemala, and you can also hear good lessons. And so if you want to do something like that, it might be a good opportunity. It's still not too late. You can still buy your tickets. It's a direct flight from Houston to Guatemala. You come in on Wednesday, just talk to Linda or Pamela, and they'll be happy to tell you about that. And we'd love to have you come to Guatemala. All right, and after that, we had a special footwear donation. There was a couple from the Linden Church of Christ that came from Linden to be at the lectureship last year, and they also brought some shoes and some footwear. And so we were very thankful that they did that, and the members were very grateful to be able to receive those gifts. And shortly after that, we had a young man. His name is Angel. Angel Garcia was baptized by his father, Enyo. And when we got to Guatemala, Enyo was like 11 or 12 years old. So it's good to see Enyo now baptizing his youngest son. Jefferson, his oldest son, is already a Christian. And so Enyo is now becoming one of the leaders of the congregation. We have men's meetings, but you also have some men who begin to really step up and take a lot of responsibilities and go the extra mile. Enyo seems to be in that category, along with his cousin. His cousin is the one holding the microphone. That's our brother Elmer. And his two daughters are also Christians. So please pray for us, because we're trying to develop them and teach them so that perhaps they can soon be our elders in the Lord's church there. I know they're relatively young, but they've been in the church now for a good while. Enyo all his life. Elmer came in a little later, but still he was pretty young when he came. So we're hoping that we can develop that. That would be our first opportunity to have elders at this congregation. We've been trying to establish an eldership for a long time. And one of the disadvantages, if you can call it that, of having a preaching school or a mentoring ministry is that when people want to become leaders, they go somewhere else to serve. And so that's often happened with a lot of our men who probably would have served as elders. Well, they've become evangelists or missionaries or preachers somewhere else. And so that's a disadvantage and an advantage. Elmer, in fact, right now, he's taking courses in our Saturday program, but he hasn't had any kind of inclination towards being full-time evangelist. And so that's why I'm positive or hopeful that he and Enyo and perhaps another man who's coming along will serve as elders for the church there at Linda Vista. We also have a regular July mission team that comes. If you'd like to come to Guatemala and you'd like to do something a little more extensive in July, we usually have teams that come for 10 days at a time. These are called short course. No, not short course. That's the Bible school. These are short-term mission efforts. And so if you'd like to do that, similar, every year we do something similar. It's different, of course, always. We have different people on every team, and we also have different projects. But the general overall format is the same. That is, you come in on a Thursday, and you relax a little bit on Thursday. Friday, we take you a little bit of sightseeing like we did here. We got the picture at the National Palace downtown, and then afterwards we end with a dinner at High's house, Hawatha's house, with High and Hawatha, if you don't know, is the same person. All right, so Hawatha is his full name, and High is what we call him. So we were at High's house here, and we invite many of the members of Linda Vista, so you're able to interact with our brothers and sisters in Guatemala. Of course, we're there to translate. We joke around a lot. We have fun. Sometimes we play games. We definitely have to eat, because that wouldn't be a church function if we didn't eat well. And so then we do that on Friday. And then on Saturday, typically we reserve that for some kind of teaching activity. So the mission team that comes will do some type of teaching activity. This particular mission team wanted to focus on the local church. So that's what they did on Saturday and on Sunday to build up the local body. Sometimes some teams want to do evangelistic work. Other teams want to do work with the children. So it really depends on what the team wants to do when they come in July. And that Sunday, when this team was here, we went to a retirement home. Well, it's nursing home, really is what we call it. A nursing home, and we visited there with the individuals that live there, the residents, 23 of them to be specific. And so we were able to do that. So it's a good opportunity to reach out into the community as well and help those that oftentimes society forgets. On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and sometimes even through Thursday, we usually leave those days for some kind of service project. And so this team also wanted to do a service project. So we went to a local school. You can see where they're scraping on the top left picture there. They're scraping the old paint because that was for many years back. And so the principal of the school wanted us to repaint that whole building. You can see it's pretty long, it's pretty big. So they did a good job. They got busy, and they they wanted to finish the work. And so that's what they did. You can see the before, and then you can see the after picture. And this school is a school for about 1,200 kids in the morning. We have 2 shifts in Guatemala. There's 1,200 in the morning, and then there's an afternoon shift, and there are about 400 in the afternoon. So there are a lot of people in Linda Vista, so there's a lot of room for growth in Linda Vista. So we were thankful because we were able to make several contacts with a lot of the children, and the children, of course, with their parents. We passed out some flyers and told them we were having some special classes that week, and so we had about 95 on Wednesday to attend, and many of those were kids from the neighborhood that came as a result of that effort. On Thursday, we usually do some visitation in the homes of erring members or sometimes members who are sick, and so we take the team members to homes. And this time we went to 3 different homes. You could see the top right and the 2 bottom pictures. We went into the homes of some of our members to encourage them, to pray with them, to sing, and to somehow give them some kind of message of encouragement. So if you're interested, and by the way, that's Thursday, and then Friday we do another visit. We go sightseeing, and then Saturday you go home. So that's kind of the format of a 10-day mission effort. So we have another one coming. We had one in June from the Linda Road Church of Christ, but they canceled this year, unfortunately. And so, well, I shouldn't say it this way, but it kind of gives us a little more breathing room. So I'm not so disappointed. I am, because I really love my brothers and sisters who come in June. But at the same time, it gives us a little more breathing room this year because we were going to have a really busy summer, June and 2 in July, and then we have the August teams, and it's going to be a really busy summer. So this is going to give us a little more breathing room. But anyway, if you'd like to come on a team like this for 10 days, we have a team coming the 9th through the 18th of July. And then the Sherrod Avenue Church of Christ in Florence, Alabama, where Hawatha is right now, they're going to bring a team from the 24th through the 31st. They were not able to make the schedule the 9th through the 18th, so we made a special arrangement with them. So if you'd like to come with either of those teams, just get in touch with me, and I'll be happy to put you in touch with the coordinator, and you come see the work or get your hands dirty a little bit and get involved in the work in Guatemala. In addition to those teams, we also have World English Institute teams that come in August. And this is very different, but at the same time, it's an evangelistic effort. This is definitely working with non-members. And you say, why English in Guatemala? Well, I think this T-shirt might help you to understand, right? This guy says, I haven't met Mr. Right yet, but I have Mr. Rude, Mr. Cheap, Mr. Married. Well, the guy had no idea what that T-shirt said. He had no idea. The poor fella, he's probably very macho, and he would not want to, wear that if he really knew. And so that's sometimes what they do. He liked the colors. He liked the writing, and this gender issue that we have here in the States, that's not a problem in Guatemala. We don't have those kinds of things. And so this guy just thought it was an English T-shirt, and it was pretty colors, and let me wear them. He had no idea that we were going to get a picture and then tell everybody what he's wearing. But anyway, this guy is pretty bad as well. The owner is really the one responsible for it. In Guatemala, they like to use a lot of acronyms and a lot of initials for their businesses. So pervert is actually probably not the name of this business, but that's what it shows on there. So if they had some kind of inkling of English, they probably would think of a different acronym for his particular business. And this poor fella, well, he was just wearing it because he was a worker. So anyway, that's just as a comical way of saying, yes, we do need to continue to learn English in Guatemala. We had a couple last year that came in February, Blaine and Terry Anderson. They're kind of freelancers. You can see Terry there on the top pictures with a couple of students, and then Blaine at the bottom there with a couple of his students. And they go and visit with students that have already been in our database for a while, and they follow up with them, hoping that they'll be able to not only learn English, but more importantly, that their interest in the Bible will increase. If you're not familiar with World English Institute, it is a program that uses the Bible to teach English. And the students know that, and they like that. And so that's an advantage that we have. So we normally have 2 teams. We have this team here, led by Sister Anna Pride. All ladies came on this team. The 5 individuals came. They came for the first 2 weeks of August. And if you'd like to come on a team doing this, well, you stay at the hotel the whole time, pretty much, except on the weekends when you go sightseeing. And of course, in the evening times or lunchtime, you can go out and eat, walk around. But anyway, you're at the hotel. You can see the books and you can see the setup. One-on-one, we set up the schedule. We fill the schedule, and we try to make sure that you have some students throughout the day. So you'll begin your day around 9 a.m. You'll go for 50 minutes, take a 10-minute break. Then you'll go 10, 11, 12. You'll take a 3-hour break, and then you'll do it again from 3 to 7. And so that's the schedule Monday through Friday. And then on the weekends, as I said earlier, on Saturdays, really, you go sightseeing. And then on Sundays, you'll be with the church family at Linda Vista. So we had 2 teams come this year. We've had baptisms. This year we didn't have a baptism, but we had many good contacts. And so some have become Christians afterwards. And so here we have Greg and Jerry, who are both preachers. They got to preach at Linda Vista. And then, of course, during the week, they continued to follow up with the students that the first team was able to see. And in fact, on the top right there, you can even see that one of the teachers, she decided to change up a little bit, and she went to a local coffee shop, and she had the class there with her students. So there's a lot of flexibility for them. So the next teams that are coming will come August the 8th through the 22nd, and August the 22nd through September the 5th. So for those of you who might consider coming to Guatemala, I'm giving you a lot of opportunities for you to be able to do this and visit us. This past year in September, we were able to host our 2nd annual Light Bearers Girls Camp. This started last year with a sister from Denver, Colorado, Terry Autry, and her 2 daughters. They came and they did the first one. They were supposed to come again this year, but they were not able to work it out in the schedule. But my wife and Damaris decided, well, let's go ahead and do another one. The ladies, the girls really want a camp. We've been having a camp for the guys for a long time, for the Future Preachers Camp. And so the girls were like, why aren't you doing one for us? So we started last year, and it would be a shame not to do it again, is what the ladies said. So Damaris served as the director, and my wife, Snejana, served as the co-director. And we had several teachers and counselors, not only from the Linda Vista congregation, but we also had several ladies, young ladies, that came and helped from different congregations. So it was a team effort, for sure. So they had 39 campers this past year in September. And the girls basically are encouraged to attend so that they can study the Bible together, and then they also can learn how they can use their talents in the Lord's church. Young ladies oftentimes are not encouraged or not taught how many things there are in the Lord's church that they can do. And of course, denominations, they put ladies in the pulpit, and they put ladies as women pastors and song leaders. And so a lot of times the girls and the young ladies, they say, well, we can't do anything in the Lord's church because they only see the public things in denominations. So this camp really helps them to see, no, there are tons of things, service, and even public things they can do, of course, among the ladies. And so this gives them a really good opportunity to see the more mature Christian women, how they have developed, how they live their Christian life, how they study the Bible. And so they emphasize Bible study a lot. They teach them how to study the Bible, and they also emphasize ministry and how they can serve in the local church as young ladies according to Scripture. So it's a very good opportunity for the ladies. And on Sunday, they worshiped with us at Linda Vista, and then they went back to the camp, and they finished out their activities on Monday. And so here they are, all dressed up. It was all ladies. This was, I think, Sunday afternoon after they got back from worship. And then on Monday, they closed out with their activity. All right, in addition, we also have a Bible school. And so thankfully, we continue to have that, but we've had to make some serious changes, and I'll tell you about that in just a moment. Let's see, let me push the right button. I keep switching my finger. Here we go. It's served. ITL has served as a Bear Valley Bible Institute extension program since its inception. We have 2 programs of study. We have the Saturday program. It's a 3-year program where people would normally come to the ITL facility, and they would take their courses. And it was to emphasize ministry skills and Bible knowledge so that local Christians in the congregations around ITL can improve their Bible skills and their ministry skills so that they could better serve their local congregations. And that started out as a very good program. In fact, it continues to be a very good program, but I'll tell you why we had to make a substantial change in just a moment. We also have a full-time program. The full-time program is similar to our preaching schools. And the emphasis there is to teach brothers who want to go into ministry. But we also train their wives because oftentimes wives are neglected when it comes to training, and yet a lot of things are demanded of them. And so our emphasis had always been teaching a man if he's single or a man and a wife if they're married. And so this is a 2-year program. I'll tell you more about the changes that took place there. These are the 5 full-time staff members. Hawatha there in the middle serves as the president, and the vice president, and then the 3 other staff members are instructors, and they also serve in other capacities. Very good Bible school teachers, not Bible school teachers, Bible school. I'm talking about now the preaching school. And so they're very good. They're graduates of ITL, all of them. So we're very proud of them. We're very confident in their abilities and, of course, in their soundness. And so we're very thankful that we've been able to work with these brothers. But I'll go back to the Saturday program and explain what happened. We started out with a goal of having around 15 students. And we did average at first 15. And then, of course, it dropped to 10. As you know, the momentum kind of slows down. And then throughout the years, we would average between 4 and 6 and 7. We thought, that's a good number. Our emphasis has always been quality over quantity. And so we thought, well, there's still a lot of interest. And we had always heard, oh, it's so good. I wish I could be in class. Why don't you come? Well, my work doesn't let me. And so we'd go to another congregation. Oh, I'd like to be in the Saturday program. Well, why don't you come? Well, it's just too far. I don't have a car. Have you guys thought about online? Well, it's just not the same. Well, anyway, it got down to this past year. We had 3 students, a couple, and this brother here. He's an elder in the church at Zone 7, by the way. This is Brother Marcos Quisque. And the couple had to stop because of the brother's work schedule. So the couple couldn't come. And so then only Brother Marcos was coming every Saturday. And we thought, we're so thankful that he is enjoying it, but maybe we should think about something else. And so we asked Brother Marcos, if we went online, would you be able to continue the program? And he says, oh, yeah, sure. My daughter will set me up and I'll be able to continue. That's not a problem. So when we got that okay from him, we're like, okay, let's go ahead and really seriously consider doing full-time online Saturday program. And so that's what we did. In June, we decided to go just online. And sure enough, we had very good attendance. We ended up with 30 students, and we had to cap it off at 35. Whenever we originally prepared this presentation, we had 35 students. Now we're down to like 32, but still, it's a pretty good number, and we're very thankful, and they're excited. In fact, that's why I was here at the building yesterday with Brother Lindell, because I'm teaching this quarter in the Saturday program. And so one of the advantages is you can teach from anywhere. And so I was able to teach the students. I'm teaching Hebrews right now, the book of Hebrews, and Brother Benny Montejo is teaching denominational doctrines. But during these pictures, you can see there were some other teachers. And so we've been having now 3 quarters of the Saturday classes. And we have now students from Colombia, and we have students in Panama. The good majority are still students in Guatemala. But it is opening up our doors and allowing us to go into other countries, and other students that wanted to come to ITL, but they didn't want to make the move, are now signing up for the Saturday program. So please pray for the Saturday program. It seems to be going very well. But of course, it will depend a lot on what we can do with the full-time program. And I'll tell you about that now. The full-time program has had very serious challenges. And we have had to think about whether or not the Lord wants us to continue this program or not. These are the picture on the top. There are 4 students. They were students that started shortly after COVID. Well, we've had a couple of students, but then they leave and they come back, and they don't come back. They just leave, and then other students come in, and then they leave. So it's been really hard to keep solid or consistent students in the full-time program. In fact, the top picture there, the two on the left are from Guatemala, and the two on the right are from Panama. And the Guatemalans are the worst as far as finishing up the program. They both left, the two at the bottom. And the two on the left. And then the two on the right, well, they finished the program, and one of them continued and finished up some additional studies in Panama, and the other one didn't, but they both finished the program, went home. And so we've always tried to do the best in trying to provide the best education. Brother Lindell is a good example of the quality of education that we have there. And so we started again in April, and we did a few changes. We decided to make it open enrollment because from the very beginning, we had always emphasized quality over quantity, as I mentioned earlier, because there are other preaching schools in Latin America, but a lot of times they just take whoever comes in and they'll graduate them just like that, and they have a lot of major flaws. And so that's why we have a lot of major problems in Latin America. We have brothers who just are not either solidly trained or their character is never addressed. Their moral character is a major issue. And so that has caused a lot of problems in the church. So we thought, well, let's do it differently. Let's just begin with men of quality, women of quality, and if we see that they have some major moral issues, let's work on it and let's see if we can correct it and help them. Excuse me. And so that's how we've been doing it. In fact, the graduates that we do have, we're very confident in their ability, and we're very thankful that they are not troublemakers. They do not cause trouble in churches, and they're very solid when it comes to the Bible. And so, yes, we've seen that our graduates are good graduates. The problem is it's getting harder and harder to find men that are willing, and men and women that are willing to subject themselves to this type of program that requires a different type of discipline. Discipleship is what we call it, but it's kind of a discipline. So we started out with these 5 students in April. We were supposed to have 7, really, and I was telling Brother Lindell about it. There was a couple that came from Ecuador. They didn't last but 2 days. I mean, they got there and they started complaining and they started this, and that was terrible. And anyway, they got sent home. They were wanting to go home. And of course, by the time they finished complaining about everything, we sent them home. After investing money and effort and time and all this stuff, it's very frustrating that they wouldn't even make it to the orientation day. They were so demanding. Anyway, we ended up with 5. And so we thought, okay, let's just hope some other students will come in the next quarter or the next quarter. Well, 2 quarters went by and no other students signed up, but less students returned. For example, I'll tell you that in just a moment here. Let me just show you. So we're teaching these students. Here are the classes, the quality of classes. There's Hawatha teaching, Benny teaching, Welder teaching. We have Brother Lindell. Yeah, he comes to do our short courses, and he teaches, and he met these individuals. And so we poured our best into them. They went and they did campaigns. We try to make sure that they learn what it means going door knocking, having to work with the local congregation, leading singing, preaching. So, of course, they have to have a lot of hands-on training as well. So they were able to do that. So here they are visiting in different congregations. They saw a little bit of fruit of their labor. This young lady, Maria del Carmen, she was baptized. And one of our graduates, in fact, Alfonso Mo, I know Linda will remember him and Evelyn. They're 2 of our graduates. They're working there in San Cristobal. And so they were able to work with him and see a baptism. But as I was getting back to this class, we had 5 students. And unfortunately, one of the students falsified information. And so in order to get into this program, he lied, seriously lied. And the more he was there, the longer he was there, the more we were discovering the false information that he had given us. And so we felt obligated to send him home because he was there under false pretenses. And then another student failed too many classes. I think he had gotten 5 classes. That you can only fail 4. And he had failed 5, and so we couldn't academically allow him to continue. And then another student was wishy-washy and decided he didn't want to come back. And so we ended up with just the 2 students in the middle, Carlos and Sandro, very good quality students, of course. One's from Ecuador, the other one's from Nicaragua. But we just had to seriously think, do we really need to continue this? Because this has happened to us before. In fact, we got down a few years ago. I know Brother Lindo will remember, and we've reported on it before. We got down one time where we just had one student. And we thought, okay, well, he wants to study. Let's go ahead and finish it. And before he finished, he went home. He also was not honest with us. He says, oh, I'm not feeling well. He went home, and then shortly thereafter, he went to Brown Trail here in Texas. So it wasn't because he was sick. It's just he was looking for another way of continuing his program somewhere else. And so those are the kind of frustrating things that have happened to us, in addition to 1,000 other things I can't mention. But we decided to pause the full-time program. And so, in fact, let me just leave it there. We decided right now we didn't bring, in January, we didn't bring Sandro or Carlos back to Linda Vista. And we're considering whether or not God really wants us to do the full-time program. As you can see, our ministry is not defined by the school. We do a lot of other stuff. We do World English Institute. We do evangelism. We work with the local church. There are tons of other things to do. And so Hawatha and I and the other instructors have seriously considered whether or not God wants us to do training in this way. So I'm asking you to pray for us, because right now we're in the process of deciding what to do with the full-time program. We have to try to justify the salaries, because these other men are on salaries. And if we go to a full-time online program, well, that would complicate things, because then we have to try to figure out how we can support these individuals in their countries if they're not going to work and just be online in class. That just complicates things way too much. But if we just have classes during the night like a university, then they will teach much less. It's not going to be Monday through Friday. It'll probably be 2 or 3 times a week and maybe 1 or 2 courses. And then that's hard to justify a full-time Saturday program. If we just concentrate on the Saturday program, well, it's definitely hard to justify full-time salaries for a Saturday program. So we're thinking about other options. And so please pray for us. It may not be where we're going to be able to continue the full-time program, but we do hope to continue the Saturday program. We're still going on with the lectureship. And God, we believe, will give us the answer in His time and in His way. He always does. He always does. And so one way or another, we're going to continue to serve the Lord, but we just ask for your prayers as we go through this very major transition period. Okay, so that's with the full-time program. As you see, we also have future preachers camps. And so the school is the one that hosts these future preachers camps. So we'll continue, God willing, to do that. This past year was our, 11th future preachers camp. And my 2 sons now were able to attend. My oldest son was able to attend his first one last year. And now my youngest son was able to attend the future preachers camp this year. So during this time, we give Bibles away. We give literature, folders, T-shirts, and other things. And there are young men that come from different congregations. We had 16 different congregations represented this time from all over Guatemala. We had 37 campers that came this past year, and we divide them into 2, the Timothy and Titus. And so here they're divided into the older and the younger. And we train and teach them how to prepare lessons and what it means to be in ministry. And here you can see our 2 youngest, my wife's and I, 2 youngest sons there, Alex, the bottom left there, he's practicing his first lesson that he had to develop. And then Jose, he's at the bottom right there. So we're very proud of our sons as well as these young men. Here you can see Jose, he's leading in the worship now. And Alex on the top, he was leading in the worship as well. As they didn't get to speak, but they did get to actively participate in worship. And you might say, well, how is that possible? Well, thankfully, they were baptized this year at the camp. So we had 7 baptisms, and among these baptisms were our 2 sons, Jose and Alex. And so we're very thankful that these young men are excited about ministry. They're excited about the Lord. And so we're wanting to continue these programs. And in fact, these campers, some of them said, no, please continue these programs. There's nothing else in the Brotherhood like this. And next year, I hope to bring more friends. And so we have several non-Christians that have come as well. And they're introduced to the gospel and introduced to the Lord's church as a result of these camps. They go from Sunday to Sunday. And so it's a very good opportunity for us to be able to have some kind of influence in the lives of these young men. In addition, and I'll close up here, I think we're supposed to end at 1:45. Is that right? Or what time is the normal end? What's that? Oh, 10 till. Okay, good. I have about 7 minutes. I think I'll be able to finish. We had Callie Hagan. She is from Tennessee. She was born in Guatemala, but she was raised in Tennessee. She was adopted when she was a little baby. And then she's been wanting to come to Guatemala as a missionary full time. So she stayed with us for a month from September to October. And here you can see she's at the girls' camp. And so she came to see what it was to be a missionary. So she lived with us, and she went with Hawatha and with us wherever we did, or sometimes she went with my wife for the activities. Of course, she was involved with the ladies' activities. So by the time she went home, she was like, yes, I want to come back for sure. She was in our Bible study we have normally on Tuesday. And so right now, Callie has gone back to school. So she's at Heritage Christian University. She's studying counseling, and she wants to be a counselor, especially for women and girls. And that's what she hopes to do in 3 or 4 years. Whenever she finishes her degree, she still wants to come back to Guatemala. And so please pray for Callie so that she can come back to Guatemala and work there in Guatemala. We started a new work in Escuintla. You saw Jonathan earlier in the picture. Jonathan's one of our graduates there on the right-hand side. And he and his wife graduated from our program. And here are some of the pictures of those who have been attending. It's primarily his family that has been attending, but that's a major step because his mother has never wanted anything to do with the church. She's Pentecostal, and now she's actually considering the need to be baptized. So please pray for this work. Here you can see some of the pictures of where they have their worship services. You can see they don't have a building yet, so they meet in his home. Also, we go from place to place periodically. We got to go to La Esperanza, Quetzaltenango. I was asked to speak there only because I was accompanying my wife. My wife was actually the main guest that was invited. She was invited to help these ladies to teach them how to make communion bread. In Guatemala, we don't have those little cups. We don't have these things. We still make our bread and we still pour our juice. And so there was a bit of a controversy among the ladies about, no, you should add salt. No, you should not. You should use butter. No, you should use vegetable oil. No, you should cook it in the oven. No, it should be in the pan. So anyway, that's how we are as human beings. We tend to fight over any little thing. So the brother, who is a graduate of our school, you'll see him in just a moment, Gabriel, he invited my wife to come and teach the ladies how to do it as an option. Well, the ladies are all going to consider this as the standard. Well, at least they was able to kind of do away with all the fussing. And so my wife enjoyed being with the ladies. They all kind of got together and like, this is so fun. And so they turned it into a real nice event. And so now there's peace among the women. They're doing a good job there. My wife did a good job. But this is Gabriel. He's one of our graduates from our full-time program, his family. And so he's the one that came up with that idea, which was a pretty good idea. We also have had Bible studies in different homes here with the one couple and their family, another lady there. She came as a result of World English Institute, the one in the stripes. That's Luz Maria. She brought a friend to our home. We invited her on this particular occasion. This Otto and Marie there on the left-hand side behind me. So we try to have Bible studies in our home. We have our Tuesday night Bible studies where we're hoping that we'll start a new congregation in our local area. We get invited sometimes to youth days, to youth events. So as I said earlier, our life and our ministry, of course, is not defined by the full-time program. This is the building where Samayak meets. And so there are a lot of things to do. And we were supposed to be at FHU this past year. And so last year we were invited to speak also at FHU. And so here we are. We also participate in the Euro-American Family Retreat every year. We teach the teenagers. And so this past year, we had a very good attendance. Well, actually, that was 2025 and 2024, excuse me. And then 2025, we went back again. So the team is growing, and I mean literally, because look at our little boys when we first adopted them. And now, of course, they're not so little anymore. They're growing up. So we're very proud of them. They're now 2 Christian young men. They were baptized in December. And so Jose the one on the right, has always said he wants to be a preacher. And so hope that that will be the case. And Alex, well, he doesn't know what he wants to be. Very intelligent young man, but I think he will somehow serve the Lord in some capacity. But very thankful for both of them, and for my wife, and for my brother, Hawatha Jones. So we got 1 minute or 2 minutes. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, sir. They're from the Bear Valley congregation. Do you know them? Yeah, Terry. Not here. It was in the previous presentation when I gave it. But it's Terry Autry, Wes and Terry Autry. He's one of the elders there at the congregation. Really good couple. Known them for over 30 years. Yeah, they're from the Bear Valley congregation. Anyone else? All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Look forward to worshiping with you in just a little while. God bless you.